أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فالذين آمنوا به وعزروه ونصروه واتبعوا النور الذي أنزل معه أولئك هم المفلحون بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إِلَّمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا صدق الله العظيم. My respected brothers and my sisters, today inshallah I'm going to reflect on some of the qualities, some of the lessons, some of the guidance we receive from the seerah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ as a worker of Islamic movement. And I'm going to go one by one and one at a time. The first one, I call it 3 C's: clarity, certainty, and commitment. Commitment and conviction. My brothers and my sisters, as a worker of Islamic movement, today the thing we are lacking is clarity about the vision, clarity about the mission, clarity about the destiny of the movement, clarity about the brand, the work we do. Most of the time we ourselves are not sure what exactly is my goal, the mission I have in my life. Because once you have the clarity, then you will feel certainty, yaqeen. You will be firm because of that clarity on the path you have adopted. And when you will have certainty, then you will feel the power of commitment and conviction. My respected brothers and my sisters, and this is what we see in the life of the Prophet ﷺ, that from day one he was very clear about his mission, about his destiny. If it was Khubab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu coming to him and asking, when is the help of Allah is going to come? His response, Suraqa bin Malik is trying to catch him on his journey from Makkah to Medina. His response, in the battle of Trench, when he shows his stomach having stones, but telling the Sahaba that he can see the doors of Yemen, the doors of Bilad al-Sham. When he has to migrate going towards Taif, when he was so sure that if Makkans are going to reject, there are other people who can accept this dawah. So his journey towards Taif, with the hope that people there are going to receive and accept his message. But when he reaches there, and what happened to him over there, the toughest day of his life. But look at the hope he had in the people, seeing light at the end of the tunnel. When the angel of mountains comes and asks him that if you allow me, I can crush the people of Taif between 2 of the mountains. But look at the response of the Prophet ﷺ. He says, no, if they have rejected, I am hopeful their future generation are going to accept this dawah. My respected brothers and my sisters, so we see in the life of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ this clarity, this certainty, and this conviction and commitment throughout his life. And because of that, we see some of the reflections of this certainty and conviction and commitment. Number one, he had what we call shared vision. Because he himself was very clear about his destiny and mission, he was able to transmit that mission and clarity in his team. That's why when Sahaba, in one of the battle, one of the Sahabi is saying that I can smell the fragrance of Jannah from the other side of the mountain. When other Sahabi, he looks at his dates and he says, why should I waste time here eating these dates when Jannah is waiting for me? Another thing we see, because of that clarity and certainty and conviction, that throughout his life in Makkah, we see he has presented this dawah with dignity, not with victim mentality. The historians who have written the biography of Prophet Muhammad SAW, they say he has lived in Makkah for 13 years as a Nabi, as a Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but not even for a second with the victim mentality. Because victim mentality is a defeated mentality, is a compromising mentality. It's a defensive mentality. But Prophet presented this deen because this deen has its waqar, its muqam, its dignity, with full dignity to the people around him. And this can only happen if the person who is inviting people, he himself is very clear and certain and committed to his dawah. My brothers and my sisters, and another reflection we see because of this clarity, certainty and commitment, that Prophet, whenever he was in need of anything, whenever he had any haja, whenever he was facing any difficulty, he has always gone back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was not relying on his own resources, on his own means and tools. Rather, his main reliance was on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that comes by default. If you know your mission and if you have yaqeen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to leave you alone. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. My brothers and my sisters, this is the way of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ that we all have to adopt if we are worker of Islamic movement. We should see end of the tunnel light, no matter how dark the situation is. But as a worker of movement, we never lose hope, because this is a work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter what, the person who is struggling on this path, he is always successful. The thing which counts, his sincerity and his effort, not the results. So if I am sincere in my effort that I am doing it just to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I am putting all the efforts I could as a human being, then no matter what happens, I will be called successful. Wa akhiru dawana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.